Hey guys, Scott from the Iron Will Strength Studio. Today's Q&A, great question, common question. Females, women, should we train lightweight high reps or heavyweight low reps? So great question. As with all things, there's never one absolute answer, but if I had to pick an absolute answer, I'm going to lean towards heavyweight low reps. So let me explain that a little bit and break that down a little bit. So when we talk about heavyweight is relative, right? So heavyweight for me is going to be different than heavyweight for a champion powerlifter, going to be different for a 20-year-old guy, going to be different for a 45-year-old female. But that said, when we talk about heavy, we're talking about relative to the individual, something that is challenging for, I don't know, between 1 and, true strength would probably be 5 reps. For the sake of argument, let's say 10 and under, 8 and under. So if we're talking about, hey, should I do sets of 6 repetitions with heavy weights, or should I do sets of 25 repetitions with light weights? The short answer is sets of 6. I'll explain that a little bit more, and I'll explain why I choose the 6 and the heavyweight. Number one is that most people are not seeing results from their strength training program, or minimal results, because they're following the old school light weights to tone. So when you're beginning and when you're starting out and you're learning the exercises and you're trying to kind of create muscle memory and actually learn how to do the movements properly, it's important to do high reps and do a lot of repetition so that we actually learn the movements correctly. It's not a good idea to try to learn how to squat and do 3 at a time when you're just beginning. So high reps in the beginning, great, get the foundations, learn how to do it. But at some point, the results start to taper off because ex-client has been doing 15-pound lunges for 3 years, and nothing's happening. Her butt's not changing, her legs aren't changing. Well, that's not surprising because she's doing the same exact weight and number of reps that she was doing 3 years ago. So there's no progression. So the body has no reason to get stronger or to get more developed, okay? So light weights to begin with, but the idea is progression. So to gradually get stronger, again, if we're gonna build muscle, we have to get stronger. Our ultimate goal is building muscle to be more toned, more defined, whatever the goal may be. It almost always involves getting more muscle, so we gotta get stronger. Number 2, we get stronger faster in a lower repetition range. So when we're training in the 20 rep range, that's more of an endurance zone. The body does not get that much stronger quickly in that zone. You start doing weights you can do 6 to 8 times, you'll find that your strength increases considerably faster, which allows us to use heavier weights and build more strength and congruently more muscle. Now on that note, I'm very aware that 90% of the females that are training with weights are not looking to get much bigger. Most want to get more toned and what I would call more density, meaning like ideally they would come in and have their legs, glutes, overall body become smaller and more firm and more defined. So I would consider that more dense and less bulky, less puffy, right? So a lot of the fear is heavy weights are going to make me look big and bulky like a bodybuilder. Well, here's where we get a little technical, but stay with me in this one. So for bodybuilder training, right? So if I have a male or female who wants to look like a bodybuilder and big, full, round, swollen muscles, we're going to do high volume meaning a lot of sets. We're going to do a lot of relatively high number of reps so we get a good pump, a pump being a lot of blood and fluid into the muscles, right? So to go with the pump, you know that if we go in and, for example, if I go in and do bicep curls for 10, 20 reps, and I do curls, some variation of curls for an hour, my arms will feel and be probably an inch or 2 bigger, maybe not that much bigger, they feel like that, for the next couple hours, right? Now me, I'm a meathead at heart. I love that, man. I like that feeling. Like I wish they would stay that way. But if I'm putting myself in the mindset of a female who wants to be smaller, tighter, slimmer, if I were to do the equivalent of that workout with legs, I wouldn't be able to put my jeans on for 4 hours. So that would kind of discourage me, thinking this is going the wrong way, like I feel bigger and more swollen. That's because I'm retaining fluid in those muscles from the pump workout, from a lot of volume, a lot of reps. and just pump and pump and pump in the muscles. Now, if I continue that, imagine I did that arm workout daily or every other day for a month, 6 months, a year, my arms would get bigger and bigger and bigger. This is how bodybuilders train to acquire huge muscles, okay? That's the goal. If my goal is to get smaller and more dense, but I'm training that bodybuilder methodology, I'm gonna end up with bigger, thicker legs, opposite of what I wanted, and now I start to blame weight training for my bulky legs. Well, we can use weight training in a number of ways. That's the way to train them to get bigger, what we call hypertrophy, right? Muscle size. If we want strength without size, which is the way we would train athletes, fighters, people that need to make a certain weight class, they want to be strong and athletic but not get bulkier and bigger. We train them with heavier weights, less volume, less reps, less total sets. So that person might do 3 sets of 6 in a particular exercise, and they're going to get really strong at the squat, at the lunge, whatever, but not see that pump in the muscles, not feel that fullness and that swollen feel. So that's where, when we train women that way, we find that their muscles become more dense and really hard and strong, but not full and swollen from the pump bodybuilder approach. So I'll take that a step further, is we got to make sure that, for example, a lot of women, again, I don't mean to stereotype, but just from my experience, a lot of women that come in always want to focus on butt and legs. They tend to want to do legs a lot and do a lot of stuff. They do legs again, do this again. And again, we're going to consciously avoid doing legs 3 times a week at 20 sets of legs each time, because that's going to give us too much volume, right? We're going to go only a handful of sets each time, heavy weight, low reps, so that we're really stimulating the muscles to get stronger and more dense, but not pump them up and make them bigger. So I think this is where you see, I learned about this a lot from, I played hockey in college and high school age, and I saw a lot of my fellow hockey players who, at that point, this was like 100 years ago, strength and conditioning wasn't a big part of most sporting programs. So most of the guys didn't lift weights, didn't do much except for play their sport. So all the hockey guys had massive thighs, massive glutes, and very small, underdeveloped upper body. So it was really weird proportions. But none of the guys had shredded legs or ripped legs. They were just big and swollen because these guys were on them skating for, hockey, shifts. When you go on the ice, you go hard for like 1 minute, come off for 3 minutes, go back on. So these guys are skating like that for a couple hours a day, 5-6 days a week. So their legs are just constantly getting swollen and hypertrophying in that range. Well, compare that to somebody that does spin or these type of workouts with the goal of getting smaller and more dense legs, but actually they're doing spin class 4 or 5 times a week, very similar to the hockey skaters program, and they're wondering why their legs are not defined and they're big and they're swollen. Well, that's why. That person drops the spinning to once a week, starts doing heavy strength for legs 2 times a week, right? So Monday spin, Wednesday, Friday legs, low reps, high weight, relatively high weight, and low volume, and then we start to see that swelling of fluid go away and the muscle density improve. So we could talk about this a lot longer, but I'm already probably talking way too much. So yes, short answer, lean towards heavier weight, less reps, focus on getting stronger, focus less on the pump and the burn, and more on building strong, dense muscles. That's it for now. See you at the next one. Bye.